Hypixel Bedwars, the most popular competitive Hypixel game mode ever released. Every day, Bedwars has tens of thousands of players online at all hours of the day. However, it wasn't always this way. That's why in today's video, we will be exploring the complete history of Hypixel Bedwars. So before this video begins, please do make sure that you're subscribed and get comfy, because we're about to go back to the year of 2017. The day is January 19th, 2017, and Tactful, an admin for Hypixel at the time, released a forums post announcing the new prototype lobby. This lobby was hosting various new game modes for players to try out and give feedback on before being fully implemented onto the server. The first round of games the prototype lobby had to offer were Duels, Survival Dash, UHC Arena Deathmatch, and Bedwars. Even from day one, Bedwars was an instant success. It became very popular amongst the Hypixel player base, and with good reason. Bedwars was unique. At the time, everyone was spending their time playing Skywars, an extremely quick-paced game with minimum strategy that relied mostly upon PvP skill. However, Bedwars had something new to offer. Bedwars was much slower paced than Skywars, and winning a game relied on strategy and resource management, and this clicked with many players, thus causing Hypixel to fully release Bedwars only 5 months later in June of that same year. During the time, many of the YouTubers in the community saw the skyrocketing success of the new minigame and decided to make videos on it for themselves. Some of these YouTubers included Preston Plays, Shotgun Raids, and even Technoblade, who we'll be coming back to later. The videos from these YouTubers saw instant success and thus began a thirst for Bedwars content from the Hypixel community, and many YouTubers shifted their entire channel over to quench that thirst. After being out for a couple of days, many players began to notice the star system in Bedwars. The stars in Bedwars are the game's way of tracking how much a player has played, and every time a player would play or win a round of Bedwars, progress towards the next star would be made. This star system is what gave many players an urge to play the game, and playing the game wasn't just a time waster, it was a grind. A grind to see who could get the most stars to show off to their friends and the Bedwars community as a whole. From the beginning, Technoblade was one of the most skilled players at the game. Whenever he recorded videos on the game, he'd often mock other players after effortlessly killing them.
The red team space. If I make this, like, I get all your subs. Not even using a weapon. I just threw some guy off a ledge.
He would often accumulate high win streaks without batting an eye, while many other players struggled to win their first game of Bedwars, and thus begins the story of Technoblade and his 1000 win streak. After realizing he was on a hefty win streak, Technoblade began to do tryhard parties with other Bedwars sweats in the community. They would play around the clock for weeks, tirelessly grinding Bedwars with the goal of getting a win streak of 1000. Once their goal became well known, people began to try to sabotage this streak. However, Techno and his team began to play at late hours of the night to avoid these snipers. Until one day, after weeks of grinding, Technoblade and his team received their win streak of 1000. By far the most out there achievement ever reached in Bedwars at the time. Over the years, Bedwars has offered many modes to its players. Solos, where it's every player for themselves. Doubles, where you can compete with a friend against other teams of 2. Threes, which is basically the same concept as doubles but with teams of 3. And fours, the most popular mode in the beginning of Bedwars, where 4 teams of 4 would compete. Along with these central modes, over the years, Bedwars has made several additional side game modes that would come and go over time. Some of these modes being Bedwars Rush, Bedwars Castle, Voidless Bedwars, Armed Bedwars, and even Lucky Block Bedwars. All of these modes were frequently switched out for players who experienced their favorite mode. Thus, we are to a modern day Bedwars. As you can see, not many things have changed about Bedwars over the years, other than the introduction of new maps along with the nerfing and buffing of certain in-game items. However, what has changed is the player base. The game has become much more competitive, with some players reaching absurdly high star counts and final kill counts. And because of this, the learning curve for new players is ever rising. Back in the day, people with over 100 stars would be baffled over, and now anyone can pass a 400 star without having a second thought. However, as bad as this may sound, the game is still extremely popular and brings many players to the server each and every day. Like all games, Bedwars will see an eventual decline. However, on the day of recording this, August 24th, 2020, the game has no signs of fizzling out. Rather, the opposite, with the vast modern-day Bedwars YouTubers bringing many new players to the game. Some of these modern YouTubers include Purple, Sammy Green, Gamerboy80, and Estelic. Even some of the smaller content creators are trying to do their part to keep the game alive. Some examples being Fizzy, KBverse, and even yours truly. Well, this video has been the complete history of Hypixel Bedwars over the years. The base game hasn't changed a lot over the 3 years since it was released, however, the community definitely has grown to love it, and Bedwars is and will always be a staple in the Hypixel community. If you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like and consider subscribing. We're getting very close to 2K. Well, that's about it for today's video.